Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing, continuing with some partly sunny to mostly cloudy conditions out there this morning, and we are seeing breezy conditions as well. As expected, those winds have picked up and exceeded 25 knots, so we have issued a wind advisory. We are currently in that wind advisory, and we expect that wind advisory to continue as we move through the working hours today. Otherwise, seeing those temperatures climbing into the mid 70s and expecting overall dry conditions and breezy conditions to continue as we move through the day today, but we'll see some unsettled conditions moving in as we get into the day tomorrow, and looking at a challenging, potentially unsettled forecast over the extended period as well. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we're looking at an area of high pressure over New England, and that's helping to keep some drier air in place currently. But we do have that potential tropical cyclone 8 that is just off the southeastern coast. It does not look like the storm will be named, but nonetheless, this area of low pressure will be tracking inland. The expected track is to be along the northern South Carolina border and move inland into the western North Carolina area and continue to meander around that area. Meanwhile, it will keep this pressure gradient tight across our local region and bring some rain chances as some of that rain activity lifts north as it makes its way inland. If we look at our upper level winds from this morning sounding, we had some northeasterly to mostly easterly winds as we move through much of the column, and slightly southeasterly as we get up to around 25,000 feet, but fairly light. Seeing those winds 20 to 25 knots through much of the column. Peak wind looks to be 24 knots at 12,000 feet. Our freezing level today is at 14,300 feet. If we take a look at the current visible satellite as well as the composite radar here, we can see down in the lower portion of the picture here, we can see what is potential tropical cyclone 8 gradually moving closer and closer to the coast. Most of the rain shield to the north of the area of circulation, and that's streaming a lot of this cloud cover that we're seeing currently up into our area, and eventually some of this rain will break off and begin to lift up into our local area as well. So just going to continue to see mostly cloudy conditions as we move through the day today. If we look at the short-term high-resolution model, see how things play over the next 48 hours or so. Again, expecting mainly dry conditions as we move through the day today. Can't rule out a very slight chance of a light sprinkle as we move through the afternoon or early evening, and then a slight chance of maybe an isolated light shower pushing through as we move past 20 local and into the overnight time frame. But overall, again, mainly dry conditions, nothing too impactful if we see any of that precip, and no significant accumulation with that. But we'll see the breezy conditions continue through today, and we'll start to see some of those peak winds calm down as we move into the early morning hours on Tuesday. But as we move into the working hours of Tuesday, we're going to start to see this band of rain showers lifting further north into the local area. We'll once again see those winds increasing as well as we move through the day on Tuesday. So another good chance of seeing a wind advisory on Tuesday, and then a chance of seeing some scattered rain showers, possibly even a few thunderstorms with this activity. It looks like the best arrival time will be towards the afternoon and continue into the evening and overnight. But as mentioned, it will be a bit of a tricky forecast over the coming days, as I'm still seeing some variation in the model outputs. For example, the European model having some of this rain activity arriving much later into the evening time frame and more of a Wednesday rain event. So still seeing some challenges with forecasting for this system, but nonetheless expecting rain chances as we move through the day tomorrow, lingering tomorrow evening into early Wednesday morning, and then potentially seeing some lingering showers on Wednesday. The high-res model here has some drying conditions moving into Wednesday, but again, as mentioned, other models indicating otherwise. If we take a look at the European model here, as we can see on Wednesday morning, plenty of lingering rain activity continues over the local region. It looks like we could see this secondary weak area of low pressure trying to develop off the coast, and that is what the model here is indicating, possibly enhancing some of those rain chances continuing through the day on Wednesday and possibly into Thursday as we continue to have this upper level trough kind of linger over the region. That's going to continue to support potential for daily chances of maybe a light shower around the area. That continues as we move in through the end of the week here. As you can see, still a lingering surface low here, but nothing too significant. Possibly seeing, again, rain chances on Friday, and then slightly better chance of rain, slightly better agreement with the modeling of seeing some rain during the daytime hours on Saturday, and then should see things start to improve on Sunday, but again, still seeing variations in the modeling that far out, so not a lot of confidence in the forecast at this time. So if we look at our 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have those winds that are above 25 knots expected. Again, as mentioned, we are currently in a wind advisory and expect those winds to stay above 25 knots as we move through the daytime hours. Seeing those winds generally out of the northeast, 12 to 17 knots, gusting up to 26 knots. So we do keep that orange risk for those elevated winds through the early evening time frame, dropping down to a yellow risk as we get past the 20 local time frame, and then back to green conditions as we expect those peak winds to settle off a bit as we get further past sunset. Otherwise, seeing our temperatures up in the mid 70s for our highs. High expected around 76 degrees this afternoon. We will keep mostly cloudy conditions, likely seeing the ceiling stay right around 4,000 to 5,000 feet as we move through the daytime hours. We'll see that very slight chance of a light sprinkle around as we get past 1400 local, and then just a slight chance of a light shower, nothing too significant as we get past 20 local, and closing up around 4 a.m. on Tuesday. So we do have that yellow chance for precip during that time frame. Otherwise, the onshore winds keeping those tides slightly above normal. And for Tuesday into Wednesday, we'll see mostly cloudy, overcast conditions. Chance of an isolated shower early morning on Tuesday, and then we'll have a better chance of showers and possibly some thunderstorms moving in during the afternoon and into the evening time frame. Breezy conditions once again as well. We'll see our high around 77 degrees. So looking at an orange risk for precip, yellow for our lightning risk, orange once again for our winds that are about 25 knots, and yellow for our reduced ceilings and visibilities with that shower activity. Much of that continues as we go into Tuesday evening and into early morning on Wednesday. Seeing those breezy conditions continue, but just dropping down to a yellow risk for those elevated winds. And then Wednesday, right now looking at mostly cloudy, overcast conditions, seeing continued chances of some lingering showers around the area and a slight chance of a thunderstorm, so keeping a yellow risk for precip and lightning. Again, seeing some variability with the Euro showing more of a rain event continuing through the day on Wednesday, so we'll have to update forecasts as we get the latest runs coming in. Otherwise, just slightly breezy with a high around 78 degrees for Wednesday. If we look at our extended forecast here, again, continues to be a tricky forecast. We're going to keep daily chances of some precipitation in the forecast as we move through Thursday and Friday. Overall, expecting mostly cloudy conditions. High temperatures in the mid upper 70s, lows in the mid 60s, and depending on with that upper level trough over the area, can't rule out an isolated or possibly scattered showers depending on what model wins out with the solution. Better chance, better agreement on Saturday, 30% chance of some rain around the area, and then mostly cloudy and breezy as we go into the day on Sunday. Temperatures falling off slightly into the low to mid 70s for our weekend. So that's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.